Humor is not innocence. That is the first lie you must burn out of your mind if you want to understand men. Humor is camouflage. Humor is a probe. Humor is how a man tests the perimeter of your boundaries without triggering alarms. If he walked up and disrespected you openly, you would see it. You would react. You would leave, but wrap the same disrespect in a smile, a laugh, a joke, and suddenly you hesitate. You wonder if you are being dramatic. You tell yourself he did not mean it that way, that hesitation is the opening. That is where power changes hands. Most women think humor reveals personality. Men know humor reveals permission. This is why the first boundary a man tests is never physical. It is psychological. He will say something slightly off, slightly insulting, slightly sexual, slightly dismissive. Then he watches. Not your words, your nervous system. Does your face tighten? Do you laugh? Do you deflect? Do you explain? Do you freeze? In that microsecond, he learns exactly how much he can get away with. The men who are bad at this are obvious. They say something crude and get rejected. The men who are dangerous are elegant. Their jokes are plausible deniability disguised as charm. If you react, you are sensitive. If you do not react, he advances. It is a win-win for him unless you understand the game. Here is what no one tells you. Men do not joke randomly around women they are attracted to. Humor is calibrated. It is adjusted in real time based on your responses. When a man teases you about your intelligence, your age, your standards, your emotions, your boundaries, he is not being playful. He is gathering data. He is asking a question without asking it. How much self-respect does she actually have? Notice how often the joke is followed by a pause. He waits. That pause is the test. If you laugh and smooth it over, you have just told him that discomfort can be neutralized with charm. If you explain yourself, you have told him that he can destabilize you and you will do the labor of restoring harmony. If you say nothing and let the silence hang, something interesting happens. Men hate silence when they are testing power. Silence gives them feedback they cannot control. There is a reason humor is the favorite weapon of men who fear direct confrontation. Jokes can be retracted, intent can be denied, accountability can be avoided. This is why men who rely heavily on humor often become aggressive when women stop laughing. They sense that the shield is failing. Let us be precise. There is playful humor and there is evaluative humor. Playful humor builds connection. Evaluative humor establishes hierarchy. Most men blur the two deliberately so women cannot tell the difference. When a man jokes about how dramatic women are, how high your standards are, how you will probably end up alone with cats, he is not flirting. He is checking whether you will internalize the insult or challenge the frame. Women are taught that being easygoing is attractive. Men exploit this teaching ruthlessly. They rely on your desire to be liked to override your instinct to correct. Every time you swallow the discomfort to appear chill, you reward the behavior. Men repeat what is rewarded. They escalate what goes unchallenged. Here's where the simps expose themselves. They believe humor is self-expression. They think men are just being goofy. They believe intention matters more than impact. These men are spectators, not players. Men who understand power know humor is leverage. There is research that supports this, though it is not romantic. A study published in the journal Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin found that teasing and humor are commonly used as dominance displays in early romantic interactions, allowing the initiator to test social boundaries while maintaining plausible deniability if confronted. In plain language, jokes are a safe way to see how much dominance you will tolerate. Now observe what happens when a woman does not react the way he expects. She does not laugh nervously. She does not explain. She does not scold. She simply looks at him, unimpressed, and lets the moment die. Men who rely on humor as a testing mechanism experience this as a power failure. The joke did not land. The tool did not work. Suddenly he is exposed. That is when you see the pivot. He will either retreat and recalibrate, or he will double down and reveal contempt. Women who can play men understand this instinctively. They do not overreact. They do not underreact. They respond with precision. Sometimes they ignore, sometimes they return the joke with sharper edges, sometimes they withdraw warmth. The key is that the response is deliberate, not reflexive. Men feel that difference immediately. This is why men who depend on humor despise women who are emotionally regulated. Regulated women cannot be shaken easily. Their laughter is not automatic. Their silence is intentional. Humor stops being a weapon when it stops working unconsciously. Notice also when the jokes appear, often at moments when intimacy increases, when you start to matter, when your standards become relevant. Humor is used to destabilize before commitment. If he can make you doubt yourself, he will not have to rise to you. There is a specific type of joke men use when they fear a woman has leverage. They disguise criticism as concern. You are too intense. You take things too seriously. You cannot take a joke. These are not observations. They are corrections. He is trying to train you to tolerate less respect in exchange for male approval. Women who fall for this end up managing male comfort at the expense of their own clarity. Women who see it smile internally. They know exactly what is happening, and they adjust accordingly. Before we go further, understand this. Men who joke at your expense are not revealing confidence. They are revealing insecurity. Confident men do not need to lower you to feel superior. They are already standing on solid ground. Humor that punches down is always compensation. Midway through this video is where many women ask what to do next, how to respond without becoming cold or combative. That is where one-on-one coaching becomes useful. I offer coaching, and the link is pinned in the comments section. This is not therapy, and it is not validation. It is strategic correction. One-on-one coaching gives you an external eye when your emotions are compromised. It helps you recognize tests in real time, respond without self-betrayal, and exit situations that drain you before they extract more than they deserve. You learn timing, silence, and calibrated response. Most women wait until they are already entangled. Coaching prevents that. The landing page is done and will be added to the description and pinned comment. Check it out. Read the free PDF, watch the free video, subscribe to the newsletter. These ideas only work if they are reinforced consistently, not consumed once and forgotten. This is what my weekly newsletter looks like. This is where I sometimes say things that YouTube doesn't let me say. I'll be sending 3 weekly, and make sure to check under promotions or spam folder for my emails. And yes, pre-order the course called The Feminine Game. It releases by May 30th. It is designed for women who are done being evaluated by men who have not earned the authority to judge them. Now let us continue, because the most revealing jokes are not the obvious ones. They are the ones framed as intimacy. He jokes about your future together, then retracts it. He jokes about exclusivity, then laughs it off. He jokes about commitment as if it is absurd. This is not humor, this is desensitization. He is lowering the emotional temperature around things that would otherwise require responsibility. Men do this because jokes can float ideas without consequences. If you react positively, he notes it. If you react negatively, he claims it was nothing. Either way, he gathers information without paying a price. Pay attention to how often humor is used to escape accountability. You confront him lightly and he turns it into a joke. You express discomfort and he exaggerates it until it sounds ridiculous. This is not charm. This is deflection with a laugh track. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Many women reward this behavior because they confuse wit with intelligence and sarcasm with depth. They mistake verbal agility for emotional maturity. Men know this and lean into it. Talking fast and joking often creates the illusion of sophistication. It is theater, skilled but still theater. The moment you stop being entertained by the performance, the actor panics. Watch what happens when you stop laughing. Not dramatically, just subtly. Your eyes change. Your energy shifts. You are no longer trying to be agreeable. Men who rely on humor feel this instantly. They will ask if something is wrong. They will accuse you of being moody. They will escalate jokes to provoke a reaction. This is not confusion. This is withdrawal symptoms. The power move is not to explain the shift. Explanation invites negotiation. You simply become less available to nonsense. Men either adapt or disappear. We are not done. The final layer is where humor becomes cruelty disguised as chemistry, and how men reveal themselves when you refuse to play along. This is what my weekly newsletter looks like. This is where I sometimes say things that YouTube doesn't let me say. I'll be sending 3 weekly, and make sure to check under promotions or spam folder for my emails. Cruelty dressed as humor is where the mask finally slips, because this is the moment when men stop pretending they are joking and start revealing what they believe they are entitled to. This is the phase where humor becomes pressure. He jokes when you hesitate. He jokes when you resist. He jokes when you ask for clarity. The laugh is not for you. It is for him. It is how he avoids the discomfort of being challenged by a woman who sees him clearly. Men who rely on humor to test boundaries are not spontaneous. They are patterned. Once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. The jokes cluster around the same themes: your standards, your emotions, your independence, your intelligence, your sexuality. Anything that gives you leverage becomes a target. Humor is how he attempts to dull the edge of what intimidates him. Here is the darker layer. Men often escalate jokes precisely when they begin to feel dependent. When you matter too much, he needs to rebalance the power dynamic. He cannot admit vulnerability directly, so he destabilizes you instead. If he can make you doubt yourself, he can relax again. This is not conscious strategy for most men, but instinct does not need awareness to be effective. Pay attention to the laugh that comes after the joke. Sometimes it is too quick, sometimes too loud. That laugh is not joy. It is relief. Relief that he said something risky and survived. Relief that you did not push back. Relief that the hierarchy remains intact. Women who are new to this mistake escalation for chemistry. They think the teasing means intimacy is growing. In reality, the man is checking whether intimacy will cost him anything. Humor is the cheapest currency. It allows him to extract emotional labor while risking nothing. This is why men who joke constantly crumble under direct observation. Ask a simple question after a boundary-crossing joke, not aggressively, not emotionally, just calmly. What did you mean by that? Watch the reaction. Confident men clarify, insecure men deflect. Manipulative men mock the question itself. That reaction tells you everything you need to know. The reason silence works so well is because it denies him the feedback loop. Humor needs an audience. Without laughter, it becomes awkward. Awkwardness exposes motive. Most men will rush to fill that gap, and in doing so, reveal whether they respect you or resent you. There is a specific cruelty reserved for women who are intelligent and perceptive. Men joke about how dangerous your mind is, how you are intimidating, how you are too sharp. This is not admiration. It is an attempt to soften you, to make you less precise, to make you doubt the very quality that allows you to see through him. Women who can play men do not rush to correct this. They do not reassure him. They let the discomfort sit. They allow him to feel the imbalance. They understand that men grow through tension, not comfort. Notice also how humor disappears when a man is around a woman he truly respects. The jokes become cleaner. The teasing becomes mutual. The laughter feels different. There is no testing, because he already knows the boundary is real. Men behave carefully around value. Recklessness is reserved for women they believe they can afford to lose. This is why men who depend on boundary-testing humor often accuse women of being cold when they stop engaging. Cold is what men call women they cannot control with warmth. Difficult is what they call women who do not bend. Humorless is what they call women who refuse to be softened. None of these labels matter. What matters is that once you stop responding reflexively, the dynamic changes permanently. even if you stay, even if you leave. Men remember the moment their joke did not land. It becomes a reference point. Some rise to meet it, others avoid you entirely. Both outcomes are efficient. Now let us talk about women who weaponize this understanding. These women do not kill humor. They redirect it. They return jokes with intelligence. They use timing. They let men expose themselves by overreaching. They never rush to prove they are fun. Fun is assumed. Respect is negotiated. This is the difference between women who are entertained by men and women who observe men. Observers always win more information. Men who are accustomed to easy laughter become sloppy. They overplay their hand. They escalate too fast. They reveal contempt too early. Women who are patient let this happen. They do not interrupt self-sabotage. At this stage, many women ask whether this makes them manipulative. It does not matter. Power dynamics exist whether you acknowledge them or not. Opting out of awareness does not make you virtuous. It makes you vulnerable. The men who hate this video the most are the men who rely on humor because they have nothing else. No structure, no direction, no discipline, just charm and noise. When charm stops working, they have no leverage left. This is why I openly support women who can play men. Not because men deserve cruelty, but because they respect competence. Men treat skilled opponents better than naive allies. A woman who understands humor as strategy commands a different caliber of behavior. Before closing, remember this. You are not required to educate men about your boundaries. Boundaries are not explanations. They are conditions. Humor either respects them or it does not. Your response determines which men remain in your orbit. If you want help sharpening this skill without becoming rigid or bitter, coaching is available. The link is pinned in the comments section. One-on-one coaching helps you decode behavior quickly, regulate your responses, and avoid over-investing in men who reveal themselves early. You gain perspective, pattern recognition, and the confidence that comes from knowing you are not imagining what you see. The landing page is live and will be added to the description and pinned comment. Read the free PDF, watch the free video, subscribe to the newsletter. These tools are meant to be revisited, not binged once. This is what my weekly newsletter looks like. This is where I sometimes say things that YouTube doesn't let me say. I'll be sending 3 weekly, and make sure to check under promotions or spam folder for my emails. And yes, pre-order The Feminine Game. It releases by May 30th. This is not about becoming colder. It is about becoming accurate. Now here is the final truth. Men joke to see who they can shape. They joke to see who will flinch. They joke to see who will shrink. When you stop shrinking, the joke loses its power. And when the joke loses its power, the man has to decide whether to rise or retreat. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to the channel. This is where we dissect what others romanticize. And leave a comment. Tell me the most revealing joke a man has ever made around you. I read them. They are always more honest than men think. Welcome to the dark side of your mind, an armory disguised as advice. Everything here exists to give you clarity sharper than the games being played against you. The reading is where I dissect your situation with precision. What he meant, what he didn't, what you missed. About 1,000 words, plus 1 follow-up question to tighten the strategy. The case file is the full autopsy, a complete psychological breakdown in writing, plus a private audio message so you hear the parts most people avoid. 1 follow-up to lock it in. If you want speed, there's the whisper. 400 words. Direct. Unfiltered. No extra dialogue. If you prefer tone and voice, the weight of the message itself, the transmission gives you a private audio response. No follow-up. No hand-holding. And if your situation is messy enough for multiple angles, buy 2 services, and the third is free. Strategy rewards commitment. If you want the truth delivered publicly, without exposing yourself, there's the public whisper. 1 question, 1 strategic answer, posted for others to learn from. Short, clean, no follow-up. You already know why you're here. You ask your question, and within 72 hours, you get clarity most people never develop. Emotional discipline, psychological leverage, the ability to stop repeating patterns that drain you. The dark side of your mind isn't here to soothe you. It's here to change how you move.